On June 25, 2009, the music world stopped spinning when news broke of the death of Michael Jackson. Jackson's unparalleled place in music history was quickly solidified as millions of fans around the world mourned the loss. Behind the spotlight of the stage, Michael had to face personal relationships in crisis. This year marks 15 years without the King of Pop, and even after all this time, his family still can't get it together. Even after the King of Pop passed away, his mother, Katherine Jackson, became entangled in numerous legal disputes related to her son's massive fortune, to the point where Michael Jackson's youngest son, Blanket Jackson, took his grandmother to court. Katherine Jackson has been fighting against her son's estate controllers after they secretly sold half of the late singer's music catalog worth $600 million to Sony Music Group back. The beginning of the legendary Jackson family. Katherine gave birth to 10 children throughout the 1950s, including twins, one of whom tragically passed away just hours after birth. In the late 1950s, Katherine Jackson took on a part-time job as a store clerk at Sears in Gary, balancing work with raising her growing family. By 1963, a significant shift in her life took place. Raised as a Baptist, Katherine embraced the Jehovah's Witness faith. Her conversion in 1965 saw all of her children follow suit, while Joe, her husband, practiced the religion, but never officially converted. Yet Katherine's influence on the family's faith was undeniable. As her household expanded, Katherine left her job at Sears and focused on being a full-time mother, keeping her children close. By the early 1960s, her sons began displaying musical gifts. In 1963, Joe formed the Jackson brothers with their eldest sons, Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine. It was around this time that Katherine spotted something extraordinary in her younger son, Michael. At just 4, he would sing and dance to the rhythm of the radio, captivating her with his raw talent. When she tried to tell her husband, Joe, he dismissed it, but Katherine's belief in Michael never wavered. A year later, Joe added Michael and Marlon to the group, but only as percussionists. It wasn't until 1966, when Michael was 7, that Joe finally recognized what Katherine had seen all along. Michael was a star. Before that, young Michael had already been performing in school recitals, stealing the show without his father's knowledge. Katherine's quiet determination and eye for talent set the stage for the world to witness the rise of the legendary Jackson family. By the end of 1966, Michael Jackson had already risen to prominence as the second frontman of the group behind Jermaine. Acting on the advice of a school teacher, Joe Jackson renamed the group the Jackson 5 in 1967. After winning several talent shows in Gary, Joe decided to take the group professionally. Michael always spoke lovingly of Katherine and her unwavering support. Michael paid tribute to his mother by dedicating his 1982 Thriller album to her. In recognition of her positive influence on her children's music careers, Essence magazine honored Katherine as Mother of the Year in 1985. Blanket Jackson, also known as Biggie, filed court documents requesting the court block Katherine, Michael Jackson's mom's use of the King of Pop's estate money in an ongoing legal battle. After nearly 2 years of legal back and forth over Michael Jackson's estate, a Los Angeles court has sided with the King of Pop's estate co-executors, effectively shutting down his mother Katherine's repeated objections to a proposed catalog sale with a hefty price tag. Years-long battle against Michael Jackson's estate. The Jackson family matriarch had also argued that before his death in 2009, Michael had told family members that he wanted to keep the estate assets in the family in perpetuity. But according to the new documents, that argument doesn't hold water, as it's Michael's intent, as expressed in his will, that ultimately controls what happens. But because the Jackson estate is still pending before a Los Angeles probate court more than 15 years after his 2009 death, his executors took the then confidential deal to Judge Mitchell Beckloff for approval. When they did so, Katherine filed objections, among them that the sale violated Michael's wishes, and that the catalog would likely continue to gain value over time if retained. In April 2023, the judge overseeing the estate rejected those objections and ruled that the deal could move forward. Katherine then filed an appeal, which is still pending. In December, Katherine filed motions asking that the estate pay for the legal bills she had incurred in making her objections, including the ongoing appeal. In an initial response earlier this month, Branca and McLean strongly opposed the request to pay for what they called her failed objection and meritless appeal. The wrangling over the Sony deal has exposed rifts among Jackson's heirs. In March, Jackson's son Blanket asked the judge to stop his grandmother from using estate money to fund her efforts to block the Sony deal. Though both had initially opposed the sale, Blanket and Jackson's other children accepted the probate judge's decision, allowing it to move forward. Later that same week, the estate responded to claims from Katherine's attorneys that she needed estate money to pay for her legal battle, arguing she had received more than $55 million since the singer's death. The estate's executors argued that virtually no request of Mrs. Jackson for her care or maintenance has been declined, including more than $33 million in cash. Katherine had been fighting against the co-executors of the estate in objection to their decision to secretly sell half of the late singer's music catalog for a whopping $600 million to Sony Music Group back. By the beginning of summer, a probate court came to a tentative decision to reject her appeal, citing the fact that it had no merit, thereby allowing the estate to move forward with the sale. Now, in new court documents filed, a Los Angeles appeals court decided to uphold the prior ruling, essentially handing the estate the ultimate win and paving the way for the sale to be finalized. Per the LA Times, the court's decision was based on the determination that the King of Pop's will gave the executors broad powers to buy and sell estate assets in the estate's best interests. But it made it clear that all of the estate's assets will be distributed to the trust. Katherine and Michael's 3 children, Paris, Prince, and Biggie, are all beneficiaries of that trust. The LA Times has more. The appeals court also rejected Katherine Jackson's challenge on grounds that she forfeited her contention that the proposed transaction violates the terms of Michael's will because she did not make that contention in a lower court. According to court documents, Katherine Jackson had previously complained that selling assets from Michael Jackson's catalog would violate her son's wishes, but acknowledged that executors had the power to do so. The appeals court also noted that Katherine Jackson was the only family member and beneficiary of the trust to formally object to the sale. Though the estate has yet to be distributed to the trust due to disputes with the IRS, per the filing, Branca and McLean were authorized by a probate court in 2019 to continue to operate Michael's businesses. In November 2022, they filed a petition to approve the proposed Sony transaction, which was ultimately granted, despite Katherine's objections. In challenging the sale, she claimed that the assets were valuable and would appreciate over time, and that the estate didn't need the cash the sale would bring in. She did, however, agree that the probate court could grant Branca and McLean permission to make the sale if they wanted, something noted in the filing. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please let us know in the comments below. Goodbye, and see you next time.